Good morning and welcome to Michigan Farm and Garden. I'm Jody Pollock Newsom and I'm your host. We are coming to you today from the Making It in Michigan conference. This is being sponsored by the MSU Product Center. Folks, we are going to have a great show this morning. We're going to talk to vendors. We are going to talk to people who use Michigan and support Michigan. Stay tuned. Good morning, and again, welcome to Michigan Farm and Garden. Folks, I think you are really going to enjoy the show that we have today. We had Matt Burbeck on with the MSU Product Center, and we had talked with him about this upcoming conference, the Making It in Michigan conference. Well, that was held, and we were there. So the show this morning was shot out at that event, and basically we talked to folks in Michigan that have great ideas, that have started companies, and that are looking at their own food companies here in the state. My first interview this morning is with Matt Burbeck. We did an overview of the day, what was going on, talked a little bit about the importance and the ingenuity of the folks that we have here in our state. Then my next interview was with the Herkner sisters. If you'll remember, we actually had Sue Herkner-Keekstra on the show before, and she was there with the rest of her sisters. So we talked to them a little bit about the company, what they do in a year like this when there's some tough times looking for some cherries, and then I shared a little bit more information as far as what they're looking at next and what some of the opportunities are and how they work through tough crop years. Then I also have with me Ben Terrell. He is a sheep producer and the only sheep dairy that we have here in the state. So Ben's going to talk a little bit about the product, a little bit about the sheep dairy, and then also share with us some information on the products they have, some of the cheeses, and also share how that may be different when you look at folks who are lactose intolerant. There seems to be more tolerance for sheep dairy products. So he's going to tell you even more about that. And then my next guest is Mike Busley. He's with the Grand Traverse Pie Company. He's going to tell us how they got started, how they've been able to come together, how they look for Michigan, and all the different sources they use. Folks, it's going to be a great show. Stay tuned, and we'll be right back after the Michigan Farm and Garden Fact of the Week.
It's time for the Michigan Farm and Garden Fact of the Week, brought to you by the Corn Marketing Program of Michigan.
Michigan's food and agriculture sector contributes an estimated $91.4 billion to Michigan's economy. That's an increase of more than 50% between the years of 2004 and 2010. For more information, go to productcenter.msu.edu. And here we are at the Making It in Michigan conference, and we're here with Matt Burbeck. Matt, it's so good to be here at the conference.
Well, welcome again, Jody. It's always been a wonderful experience to have you here.
Well, and it's great, and the excitement and energy. I'm going to have you tell us a little bit as to what's going on today and then what's happening behind us.
Well, you are at the Making It in Michigan conference and trade show. It's our 5th event. It's been a sellout year. But basically, we've had our morning activity where we've had Bob Fish from Big B as our keynote speaker, who's been talking about inspiration and what it takes to, from a one coffee store to the empire that he has today, and telling everybody how you need to achieve these goals. And then we've had some fantastic educational sessions about rules and regulations and how to make products safe and how to make them packaged properly. And we had Maya here talking about what you needed to do and to be put in front of them and all that sort of thing. And now the afternoon activities, we're now at the trade show, which are all the product center clients that have gone forward and produced products and are now looking for that next stage in their life in talking to retail buyers and stores to sell their products to.
Well, and I have to say, it looks absolutely packed. It looks like every booth space is used, and the diversity of different products that are here is amazing.
We're full. We're absolutely full. We've gone from 30 vendors when we first began this to 150 vendors today. We are sold out. So it just shows you how much this state has to offer in its diversification and its value-added products.
Well, and I think too, another thing that's so kind of shocking, finding a place to park was a bit of a challenge because everyone's here, and as I look down the aisles, there are people everywhere.
It's been fantastic. We've got people coming from all over the state. They want to come and try these new things. We've got buyers. We've got all the major supermarket chains here this afternoon that are looking for these new products. Like you, I've walked the aisle. I think I've only made it successfully down 2 of them because of just the amount of talking that you have to do, and I've still got 3 more aisles to go. So I'll probably be finished about 12 o'clock tonight, but who cares? That's okay.
Well, and I think one thing too, and it's hard to get through on the TV, but the excitement and the enthusiasm, when you look at a tough economy, people need to come to things like this because people are upbeat and they are so excited about Michigan.
They are, and it's a testament to this state and to Michigan about how diverse it is and how incredibly good it is at coming out of an economic crisis and starting to rebuild itself and redefine itself, and after all the sort of the automobile stuff and the cars and you name it, it's just that we've redefined ourselves, that small business rocks and is the ruler of the world, and it's going to be these entrepreneurs behind us and these small businesses that are really going to redefine Michigan for the short-term future while we rethink what we're going to be. But I take my hat off to them. I mean, they're true entrepreneurs. They fly by the seat of their pants and they enjoy what they do. They're passionate. They love it. The food is fantastic, and I wish them all the success in the world. And the MSU Product Center is just one tiny little thing in the sort of like the supply chain that can help them move forward.
Well, and Matt, for folks that are at home that didn't get to come here, or if you're at home and you have an idea, what does somebody do to kind of learn the nuts and bolts to figure out if they want to venture into a company? Who do we get a hold of? What do they do?
They come to the MSU Product Center. I mean, we've got a great website, the MSU Product Center. It's actually called theproductcenter.msu.edu. We've got a statewide council network of 15 counselors that can come and work with you locally. But really, just remember the Product Center. Remember Michigan State. Remember the MSU Product Center. If you've got that idea or that recipe in your back pocket and you want to be one of these guys behind me now, make that call, get online, do something, find us, Google us, search us, walk to us, crawl to us, I don't care, but get to us.
Well, and I think that's so important because as you look down all these aisles, all these folks just started with that great idea or that awesome recipe.
Absolutely. They all did. I mean, it is absolutely true. I mean, I don't think anybody here would turn around and say, if it hadn't been for just getting up and doing it, that they would be where they are today. And when you see the smiles on their face, I just was with a client and Maya stopped at there. And they saw their things, and Maya was saying, "This is wonderful," and this was, you're ready, and like the smiles are just like they're uncapturable. They're wonderful.
Okay. Well, Matt, thank you so much for all you guys do and the work at the Product Center, and this is awesome. And I just want to say thanks a lot, and thanks for inviting us back.
Well, it's a pleasure. It's always good to have you guys here, and we love the support. And again, come to the show anytime. You're always welcome.
Great. Thank you so much.
Pleasure.
Folks, if you're at home and you have an idea, link to us on MichiganFarmandGarden.com, and I will get you information so you can get a hold of the Product Center right at Michigan State. Stay tuned. We'll be back right after this message.
The Cherry Marketing Institute wants you to know about tart cherries. Cherry's red color comes from powerful antioxidants. Available year-round, it's easy to incorporate cherries into your daily diet. Visit choosecherries.com.
Michigan's 1,000 apple growers take pride in producing delicious apples from one generation to the next. From the Great Lakes come great flavors. Look for locally grown Michigan apples.
Have Jody speak at your next agricultural event. Go to jodylive.com.
And here we are right here at the trade show, and we are at the booth for Herkner's Toppings. Ladies, welcome to the show. It's good to have you here.
Well, Oh, great. We're glad to be here.
Well, and I'm going to have you go ahead and kind of introduce yourself and then tell us how you came together and how we got these great cherry toppings.
I'm Sue Keekstra, and I'm Sue Keekstra, but my maiden name is Herkner.
And I'm Judy Harmon with the maiden name of Herkner.
And I am Linda Herkner with the name of Herkner. And we came together because of our parents. We're all sisters.
Well, and how did you kind of come up with the idea for the cherry toppings for toppings as a business?
Because our mom and dad had a cherry farm on the old Mission Peninsula, Traverse City, and they made this when we were little girls on our cherry farm for our father's ice cream. And so we decided that our sister Linda could use a little help, and this was one way to help her, was to form this company. Took it to Michigan State Product Center. They researched it, said, we love this, we'll help you, and they have walked us through the process of forming our company.
Well, and what would you kind of say to some other folks out there? You know, as they looked at this, Linda, and you know, the family came together. I think that's one neat thing about folks in Michigan being so resilient. But it's also got to be kind of scary to look at a new business and how do we get it started.
Well, fortunately, when you start a new business, I really don't think you know what is involved in it, or you probably wouldn't. But it has been a wonderful ride. It really has. Michigan State has just, I can't say enough for them. I mean, they are awesome. They have coached us the whole way. And you get to a point that you're just into it. So far, there's no way to go backwards. You only go forwards. And if we can do it, anyone can do it.
And when you certainly look at products, we talk cherry topping, you mentioned ice cream, but it's not just for ice cream, because I've actually had you cook for me, Sue.
Yes, I have. Oh, we do an awesome baby back rib recipe with ribs and cherry topping and barbecue sauce in the crock pot to die for, our signature recipe. Wonderful on meats, ice cream, fish, cheesecake, a warm brie on a cracker, cream cheese on a cracker, pancakes, waffles, a lot.
Well, and Judy, as you guys have been here today, what are some of the things that you've seen or some of the response from folks that are walking through?
It's always fun to watch somebody taste it for the first time.
Yeah.
Their eyes light up and they, wow, this is really good. And that's always a joy. But we have met new distributors, new customers. You meet everybody from packaging to suppliers for products and shipping, and you just always get lots of really good, helpful information.
It's a great way to grow.
Well, you know, and certainly as we look at it, one of the things we've talked about on the show is this year, the crop, it was a really tough fruit crop. So when you're looking at, you know, cherry topping, and we know there's 15, maybe 20% of a normal crop. What do you guys do in a situation like that?
Well, actually it was 5%.
5%? Okay.
Yes, so we were fortunate to obtain a good sum of Montmorency, IQF cherries, but we are having to mix in cherries from Poland along with our topping to keep it out there in the market. But we know that the minute the first tub of cherry goes through an IQF machine come next spring or summer, we're on it. We're going back to all natural.
It is still all natural, but we are going back to the Michigan cherry. We're using as few Lutaka cherries as possible, but if you want to stay in business, you have to do what everybody else is having to do, you know.
And I have to say, you guys aren't the only ones to say that. Other folks have said, you know, we have to do what we have to do. You have to have product, and we're going to get all the Michigan we can get. And, you know, from there, we're going to do the best we can. And I know for you guys, besides cherries, you have some other new stuff coming.
And that is really interesting because Matt from the Product Center, who's been our coach, has been telling us for some time we need to come up with another product. And so being the stubborn sisters that we are, we've wanted to stay with the cherry product. This forced us to do something else. And now we have a blueberry topping that is just really awesome, and it's almost ready to hit the shelves. And we're working on a raspberry cherry topping. So it has forced us to go what Matt told us we should have done a long time ago.
Well, and I have to say, personally, I appreciate it because I have the cherry topping in my cupboard, and I love cherry and blueberry both. So you're going to have to say, hey, it's ready.
So you you get our first jar of blueberry topping.
I am so into that. That would be awesome. Folks, you heard it.
I promise. You'll get the first jar.
Well, that's awesome. And what would you guys say to folks who are at home and are wondering, what do we need to do? I'm thinking probably a big go for it is probably appropriate, because that really seems like what you guys have been able to do.
If three grandmas can do it, anybody can do it.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much. Folks, certainly when we think about Michigan and the opportunities here in our state, there are a lot of folks out there, but you need to look at who we have supporting our state, doing the best that we can for Michigan. Stay tuned. We'll be back right after this message.
This chicken is beak over claw for meal made from U.S. soybeans. Now, one chicken may not be too much to cluck about, but suppose we add another, and another, and another. Before long, you've got billions of hungry customers around the world all clamoring for the same thing, our soybeans. Learn more about the billion-dollar appetite of animal agriculture at BeyondTheElevator.com. Brought to you by America's soybean farmers and their checkoff.
And welcome back. Here we are, and we are at the booth with Ben Terrell. Ben, welcome back to the show.
Hi, Jody. Thanks.
It's good to have you here. I'm going to have you tell us a little bit about how you came up with the idea and kind of the uniqueness about your company.
Yeah, well, we're here. My name is Ben Terrell. I'm from Terrell Farmstead Specialties in Charlotte, and we currently operate the state's only commercial sheep dairy, which is definitely a little bit of a niche, but here showing people our cheeses and giving people a taste of what sheep cheese is and why it might be beneficial for them. So.
Well, and let's talk a little bit about that. You know, when you look at the farm, you certainly have a long farm history, family farm for several generations, so very unique to look at going from the farming aspect into the food aspect.
Yeah, definitely. It's something we're sharing here today is our farm story, and that's a big part of why we've taken this on, is that we'd like to sell our story and share our story with others. So I'm a 7th generation farmer. We farm just outside of Charlotte, so farm's been in our family a long time. Sheep have always been a part of what we do, and so we're just sort of taking another step in that journey and trying to add value to our product and then be something that can kind of endure in the years to come and pass this tradition along.
Well, and let's talk a little bit too, you know, a lot of us dairies, we certainly think of cattle, but let's talk about a little bit of the uniqueness with a sheep dairy and kind of how that relates to some of the products.
Yeah, sheep dairy is in the most basic sense in terms of milking and the way we obtain the milk is not greatly different than a cow dairy. We are seasonal, which is different than a cow dairy, and we milk once a day. Sheep obviously produce far less milk than cows, but the milk is much different milk. It's about 8% fat, 8% protein milk, very well suited for cheese making. As a cheesemaker, I can say that it's by far the easiest type of milk to make a cheese out of. So works really well. Makes great aged cheeses. A lot of very famous, very renowned European cheeses are made from sheep's milk. Your Manchegos, your Roquefort, feta even. And so those are ones that we're just trying to put a Michigan spin on and sell here. We sell a few of our own as well, and market these cheeses from the standpoint of people that are interested in a very high quality cheese and some of these premium cheeses that pair really well with fine foods, and also to people that simply have lactose issues, digestibility issues, which is a big factor in sheep and has been a big part of our marketing plan as well. So it's been a fun product. We've seen a lot of growth, and we're really excited about it.
Well, and you mentioned the lactose intolerance, so there is a difference too when we look at that breakdown, I guess. So if people do have a lactose issue, they're okay with looking at the sheep dairy products.
Yeah, people with lactose issues can almost always tolerate sheep milk. And the reason for that is sheep milk does have less lactose, and lactose that does have are smaller molecules, which makes a lot of sense. A cow being a much larger animal than a sheep, and so this milk is meant to feed those baby lambs that are only going to be 15 pounds. So that by virtue of that fact, it is much more digestible. And we also sell aged cheeses as well. And a lot of people don't know that aging is a fermentation process. Breaks down sugars, and so it's going to ferment that lactose in the cheese too. So aged cheese is going to be more digestible than a fresh cheese for people. So aged sheep milk cheese then becomes, kind of the pinnacle of digestibility. And so for people with really serious digestibility issues, it becomes a real good option to incorporating cheese and some of this protein back in their diet. So.
Well, and I think that's kind of neat because you do have unique products, but then there's also the digestibility issue. So it kind of all comes together and gives you guys some really nice niche markets.
Yeah, absolutely. It's I think we've seen a lot of demand for the sheep milk cheese from that standpoint, from people whose doctors have told them maybe you need to find somebody that makes sheep cheese, and they think, gee, where do I go? And so I think we've actually had a lot of stores and retailers come to us looking for these products, so that's been very beneficial.
Well, and that was great because that was one of the things I was going to ask you is looking at, if folks are out there, how do you find it? And let's talk briefly too about the different products and maybe we can hold a couple up and show folks kind of what you're talking about, especially as we look at the foodie movement and folks looking for just some diversity in products.
Sure. I think we can make an illustration here too on how some of the markets we're catering to. I think a cheese that's been real successful for us is our Roquefort cheese. A lot of people have heard of Roquefort. It's a very renowned French cheese that we're able to make in Michigan too. It's a blue cheese, and this is a perfect example of a cheese that's going to go really well with a wine and cheese pairing, or a very premium kind of a meal setting. So that caters well to that market. We also make some tomes, just to also again a very a natural and a French style cheese that tend to be very sought after. And then I guess a good option to show kind of where we're trying to address the issues of people with digestibility issues would be our Royal Orange, which is basically a sheep milk cheddar that we formulated that really works well with the people that just want to incorporate a cheddar style cheese back in their diet and haven't been able to. So this is one that's been very popular for us as well.
Awesome. Well, Ben, it sounds like you guys have a lot of good ideas, and it sounds like you're probably also pretty busy.
Yeah, we keep busy, but it's fun. I really enjoy the feedback, talking to people here today and hearing how they enjoy our product, and I think that's rewarding for me. So we're having a good time.
Well, and I think that's important, and too, looking at the diversity of products, and like you mentioned, there are a lot of folks that have been here today and looking for products, and we certainly wish you guys the best as you move ahead.
Thank you very much, Jody. Yeah, we're excited.
And when you get new products, we'll have to get you back on the show.
Anytime.
Folks, certainly we know the diversity of Michigan agriculture, but I think sometimes we take for granted the innovators that we have in our state, the unique products that we have in our state. So certainly get out there, learn more about Michigan agriculture, and take advantage of the bounty that we have in our state. Stay tuned. We'll be back right after this message.
This hog is Hanover hoof for meal made from U.S. soybeans. Now, one hog isn't that impressive, but suppose we add another, and another, and another. Before long, you've got billions of hungry customers around the world all clamoring for the same thing. Our soybeans. Learn more about the billion-dollar appetite of animal agriculture at BeyondTheElevator.com. Brought to you by America's soybean farmers and their checkoff.
And welcome back. We are here with Mike Busley of Grand Traverse Pie. Mike, welcome to the show. It's good to have you here.
Thank you, Jody. Pleasure to be here.
I'm going to have you start, and I think a lot of us know, we've heard of Grand Traverse Pie. I'm going to have you tell us a little bit about the idea, how it came together, and how you got started.
Okay. The short story. Denise and I are from Michigan. Denise is my wife. We started the business in Traverse City in 1996. We're both from MSU, green and white grads, and we moved out to the West Coast and started corporate careers in 1980. We really missed home. We missed Michigan. We missed family. All the values and just the good feelings of living here in Michigan. So we thought for a while, what are we going to do? How do we come home? And we wandered into a pie shop out in east of San Diego, in Julian, California. It's a beautiful little town up in the mountains, and there's a pie shop, and they're making pie, and just the good energy of they grew the apples right there, and they put them into the pies, and the people would come up on the weekends and buy them, and so we sat there having a slice of pie with our kids and thought, could we recreate this essence, this feeling in Traverse City, because we wanted to move up north, and that's cherry country. Mm-hmm. So could we take the essence of what the Julian Pie Company was doing in Julian and transplant it in Traverse City? And so that's kind of where the seed was. We'd never made pie, so it wasn't something that a passion for food or pie. But we launched into a business plan assessing could this become reality? And through a series of iterations, we met the folks from the Julian Pie Company. They agreed to train us, so we hired them as a consultant. They helped us learn what kind of fruit, what kind of wheat, how to make crust, how long to bake a pie, what kind of ovens, all the details that we didn't know. And so that we felt that helped strengthen our business plan, so that we did come to Michigan seeking out sites and seeking out some financing. We had a fairly solid business plan with some experts behind us that can help us learn more as we went along. So they're just great people out there, and this life's about relationships, right? And so through the strength of the relationship with Liz Smothers and her family, they helped train us. And that was 16 years ago, and we still have a great relationship with those folks. They come here, we go there. But that's where the pie idea and the pie knowledge and technique originally came from.
Well, and now if folks haven't been to one of your locations, I mean, it feels like you name it and you can get it. There's so many different options. I'm sure you had to start and kind of grow that and develop that.
Right, we did. We started slow. Liz came out to Michigan to help us source. We immediately went out to Frankfurt, the Smeltzer Orchard Company, and found some Northern Spy apples and some Montmorency tart cherries and some Rubel blueberries that were great as starting points. So the apple pie, the blueberry pie, the cherry pie. And we've found some Michigan strawberries from Leelanau Fruit Company. So we've always tried to source Michigan as we grew, and as we learned, as we could expand what kind of pies we could make, who out there is growing the fruit that can help. Pioneer Sugar is what we use, King Flour out of Lowell. So we find these companies, and they're great companies, and source as much of that as we can into our pie. So that we feel great about the Michigan Ag component of our business.
Well, and I think especially now with the Pure Michigan Ag campaign and folks in Michigan, we've talked about what a difference it makes if you spend your money locally. And through the show, it seems like people are really interested in what comes from Michigan and who supports Michigan. Are you guys seeing some of that kind of stuff in the business?
Oh, we are. People love that. If there's comments, they love the pie, but they also, when we get comments online or just verbally, they love the fact that we support Michigan businesses. Obviously, there's an economic multiplier that makes sense, but the fact is we have the best apples, we have the best cherries, the best blueberries, our flour. The fact is we're not doing it just to do it, it's because the ingredients are that good. And so we can proudly say, as our goal to make the best pie in the world, we're using some of the best ingredients in the world. So I think that resonates with our residents.
And that's what we love to hear. My background is in Michigan agriculture. And one thing too I would say, you guys have really been able to take that business and grow it and develop it past the pies with the different locations and even working with some of the different stores in the state to get that product out there so it's available.
Right, we have 15 pie shops across, 14 in Michigan, 1 in Indiana, and we will continue to grow. And that's an economic benefit to each community. We want to deepen our relationships. Kroger is a good example of a chain here that's really passionate about Michigan as well, and we're in several of the Kroger stores, mainly in the southeast part of the state. And so it's a nice alignment when you have other, it's a market pull kind of thing. And Kroger's been a very supportive member of that, not only for us, but many other companies.
Well, and Mike, as we look to the future, what do you guys see?
Well, we see a lot of bright spots out there. We see pie. There's pie is limitless. How we create pie, how we combine flavors, how we combine other ingredients from other Michigan companies, how we connect with our communities in our pie shops, our values. We really want to make your day, whether you're in for a pie or if you're in for a salad or a soup. We want to make you walked into our shop. Somehow that added to your day, made your day better. And we feel like there's lots of opportunity for us to send that message and make a difference in people's lives in our communities.
Well, Mike, thank you so much. I appreciate it. And folks at home, certainly a lot of great vendors here and a lot of opportunities, and thank you for supporting Michigan.
Jody, thank you. It's our pleasure.
Folks, I hope you have an absolutely wonderful week. I am going to sign off for the show because it's time for me to have some pie. I'll see you back here next week. Bye-bye.